Hello everyone and welcome to a really awesome game from round 2 of this year's Global Chess League. It is Alexander Grischuk versus Nodirbek Abdusattorov. Sorry about no videos for the past few days. I had sort of a vacation with the family, and I just got back, and I decided to check up on what's what in the chess world, and immediately I was greeted with this game. So I'm very happy to present it to you. A very, very cool endgame and very, very resourceful find by one of the players. So like I said, the Global Chess League, it is a 6-team double round robin tournament taking place from June 22nd to July 1st in Dubai. And also the players receive 15 minutes for the entire game, plus also 10 seconds increment after a move is played. So it's a rapid time format. Let's check it out. Alexander Grischuk has the white pieces, and he opens with knight to f3. He goes for the Reti. We have pawn to d5, g3, the king's Indian attack, and knight to f6. We have bishop to g2, e6, and now castles. We have pawn to c5, so nothing new here. The Yugoslav variation, we have d3, knight to c6, and now pawn to e4. This is a very standard pawn sacrifice, but white will get a lot for it. So d captures on e4, we have d captures, now we have a queen trade, queen captures on d1, rook captures, and now knight captures on e4, and now knight to a3. And what's interesting is that, okay, white is up a pawn, black is up a pawn, but black will have problems developing the light square bishop. And also, Nodirbek probably, I have no idea if he does, but he probably knows that Grischuk already played this in the FIDE World Rapid Championship, and that he won a very nice game against Daniel Friedman. But there is a difference. After bishop to e7, in that game 4 years ago, Grischuk played bishop to f4, and controlling this diagonal, and of course, if black allows it, you want to get your knight all the way to c7, but most likely the knight is coming to c4. But here he plays bishop to e3, and it is now already, as of move 10, that we have a completely new game. So here we have castles by Nodirbek, knight to d2, offering a trade of knights, and okay, captures, and here pawn to e5. This is the quick way to develop it, because it comes with a pawn sacrifice, but you really have no ways of developing your light square bishop. So here we have knight to c4, putting pressure on the e5 pawn. But this also means that white will have to part with his light square bishop to capture the knight here, which will also double black's pawns, and which also means that you will be able to capture on e5. So, well, you could play something like f6, then you allow bishop to d5, and you just give white more control over the entire board. So bishop to e6, and as we've promised, bishop captures on c6. Now you could throw in a nice bishop captures on c4, but then bishop captures on b7. So b captures on c6, we have knight captures on e5 going after the c6 pawn, and rook f to c8 defending it. We have pawn to b3, and now bishop to f6, not allowing the knight to move. So pawn to f4, you have to defend it. And now one move you don't want to see is white playing c4. So that's why Nodirbek first plays bishop captures on e5, f captures, and only now pawn to c4. And now, of course, he wants to trade his double c-pawn for white's perfect pawn structure, and he wants to push a5, a4, and put even more pressure on that b3 pawn. So bishop to c5, and now pawn to h5, creating some breathing room for the black king. Rook to d4, and now rook c to... sorry about that. And now... sorry about that. And now rook c to b8. After this rook to d4 move was played, rook b to c8, rook c to b8, rook a to d1, and now pawn to a5. What just happened? You've seen nothing. Don't pause the video or anything to check out the position. So pawn to a5, of course, the idea is pawn to a4, and now king to f2. Sasha starts bringing the king into the game, king h7, Nodirbek does the same, rook 1 to d2, and now pawn to a4. Now you are ready to start capturing on b3, and of course, Sasha just plays b captures on c4. And there are two moves actually to consider here. One is b captures on c4, the move that Grischuk played. The other one is pawn to b4, and it's hard to find anything wrong with this move. But okay, b captures on c4, and now pawn to a3. You will give black a bit more activity. We have rook for back to d3, and now rook to b2, going after the a2 pawn. Rook captures on a3, rook captures, we have bishop captures, and finally rook captures on a2. bishop back to e7, and bishop captures on c4. And now, okay, the material is equal, bishops are of opposite color. Obviously, this is a draw, is what you would think. But one of the players is very, very low on time, and I don't have to tell you which of the players is it. So bishop to g5, we have king to g6, and now pawn to h4, defending the bishop, and now also the black king can't really... well, he can advance, but it could be a little bit dangerous, but that's exactly what Nodirbek does. He plays king to f5, bishop to f4, defends the e5 pawn, and now rook to a3, cuts off the white king from entering the game. Rook to d6 now attacks the c6 pawn, and rook to a6 just defends the pawn. King e3, and bishop to d5. Now the rook can once again move. We have king to d2, and now rook to a4. We have rook back to d8, king to g4, rook to g8 attacking the pawn, and pawn to g6. We have rook to d8, and now rook to a3. Rook to d6, and now rook back to a4. You could also consider maybe a move like rook captures on g3, but it would be ill-advised. For example, rook captures on g3, bishop captures, king captures. There's no real way to make progress with your pawns. Like you could play, okay, maybe you could play g5 captures and then create a passed h pawn, and you do have the h1 square covered, but it sort of feels a bit overambitious. It is similar to what actually happened in the game, but not quite the same. Rook to a4 was played, king to d3, king f3, and now king to d2. Rook to a2. Now you have to be careful. You don't want to allow bishop to b3. So king to c3, and now rook to a4. Point is, if you play bishop to e4 now, you will win the pawn. But let's say king b3, you force the rook to capture, and after rook captures, now you even play pawn to e6. And now after f captures, rook captures. How do you play this? Let's say bishop to f5. Okay, you chase away the rook, rook to e5. And now if... it's hard to find the move because you are threatening rook captures on f5. Then the rook will hang, the king will be able to capture the rook, and also this rook cannot remain on the c file, which means that you will not be able to advance the passed c pawn. As the bishop covers c1, the king covers c2, c3, and c4, and the rook covers c5. That's pretty much it. It's just a draw. I mean, it often is like that when it's bishops of opposite color. So rook to a4, and now king to d2. We have king to e4, rook to d8, and now bishop to e6. Rook to d3, c5. The pawn is now being advanced to c4. We have rook to c3 and pawn to c4. So limiting the movement of that white rook and the white king. Rook to e3 check, king to f5, and now king to c3. We have rook to a1, king to d2, and king to g4. We have rook to e4, king to h3, even rook to e3, and now rook to g1. c3, and bishop to d5. Now, okay, you are nicely controlling this diagonal, but what is there to play for? Well, rook to e1. Grischuk offers a trade of rooks, and you'd probably think that, okay, now it's definitely a draw, but Nodirbek does not trade. Nodirbek plays rook captures on g3. He sacrifices the rook, or rather the exchange, for grabbing an extra pawn, and now it will be somewhat difficult to defend, especially since Grischuk has only a few seconds on the clock. Okay, you do have increment, but 10 seconds increment, although it can mean a lot in a difficult position, and this is a difficult endgame, might not be enough. King captures on g3, and now king to e3. Here, there is sort of a forced line, but impossible to find with few seconds on the clock. Look at this. e6, you sacrifice another pawn, and after bishop captures on e6, now white is down 2 pawns, but okay, up a rook, and now we play rook to e4, and this is the problem. Now the h4 pawn is defended, and you don't have ways of pushing forward. For example, bishop to d5, let's say we attack the rook, rook to d4, and now, okay, you can play bishop back to e6, and now after king to e3, even pawn to f5, but that's as far as you get, because d4 and f4 are dark squares, and you will simply play rook d4, rook f4, rook d4, rook f4, rook d4, and black will not be able to make progress. You only have a light square bishop, so you cannot affect the dark squares, and you cannot push any of the pawns. It's sad. You're up 2 pawns, but nothing to be done. However, in the game, king to e3 was played, and now there's a bit more to be done here. King captures on h4, and still, it's a draw if you play rook to g1. Rook g1 completely cuts off the black king from entering the game. However, king to f2 was played, and now, I don't have to tell you what Nodirbek played, as I've just told you that you have to cut the black king off from entering the g file, king to g4. of course, we have king to g1, king to f4, we have king to h2, and now pawn to g5. And now the pawns are marching forward, and the white rook will be helpless against them. We have king to h3, bishop to e6 with check, forcing the king back, king to h2, and now pawn to h4. And he was in this position on move 59 that Alexander Grischuk resigned the game, as there is nothing more to be done here. And it was a pretty bold decision by Nodirbek to sacrifice the exchange like that, because okay, it's a team event, 6 players versus 6 players, and even if he got a draw, it would be enough for his team to win, but he still, sacrificed material. He went for the win. Peter Sviller even joked on the stream a little bit. He said that if he did this as a kid, with his captain, he would be, well, maybe not kicked off the team, but maybe he would not be allowed to play a few games after that. But yeah, here are the standings of what happened in the other games of this matchup. There you have it. MBL drew his game against Jan Nepomniachtchi. Grischuk lost to Nodirbek. And also in this tournament, if you win with the white pieces, you only get 3 points. If you win with black pieces, you get 4 points. So it's again a bit of a different way of scoring. Vidit versus Timur, after really a crazy game, ended in a draw. Hampi versus Tanjongi, also Tanjongi won with the black. Harika Dronavali defeated Nino with white, and Sindarov lost Raunak. Also, he got very nicely 4 points with white, and that means the Balan Alaska Knights have defeated the Mumba, the upgrade Mumba Masters by a score of 14-5, which is which is quite a lot. And if you're wondering how one would play out this game if it didn't end where it did, well, it's pretty much what you think it is. You would just advance the pawns. Let's say king g2, g4, king h2, g3 with check, king g1. Of course, you cannot go up the board, and now bishop to d5, and you can even make silly moves like if rook d1. You can even capture back, defend the bishop. If you give a check, now you block with the bishop. If you try some checks via the a file, you will simply play h3. Now h2, a1 wins. If rook a5 check, king f4. If rook goes here, h2 check, king f1. You can win with h1 check, but you don't have to. You can even threaten a nice checkmate here. If rook h4 check, king e3, and now g2 check, and that's all there is. If king to e1, you can even play g2 right away, and now you are checkmating white, whatever you play. Okay, you could prolong with rook e4 check, but we are not going to discuss such moves. So yeah, after h4, after 59 moves, Grischuk resigned, and Nodirbek wins a very nice game. And yes, I am back from vacation, so if you guys have any games that you would like covered that I haven't shown, of course, as I was on vacation, do send them to me via email, via Twitter, via pretty much anything. I will check it out and will gladly show them. So yeah, that's the game. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I would like to thank Brian Baker, BulletChessThriller.com, Samuel Kane, Dan McCormick, and James Eugene Cashman for your contribution to my channel. Thank you a lot. I really appreciate it. Sorry about that. Forgot to enter the amount, Mr. James. There you have it. Sorry about that. There we go. And yeah, as usual, you can check 2 of my previous videos here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon, continuing to check up on your wonderful suggestions and whatever else happens in the chess world. So thank you all. I will see you soon, and have an excellent rest of your day.